So as you can tell from the title of this video, this is another video for the air fryer series. So the star of the show is going to be the steak. I did make the steak in a air fryer, and if you are someone that has one and you do not know what you can make with it, you can make just about anything. If you want to learn how to create this meal, this is just steak and roasted potatoes. I added some shrimp for a garnish. Keep watching. I'm going to show you step by step how to do this. So the very first thing that you're going to do is marinate your steaks. You can choose whichever steak cut that you want, but the first thing you do want to do is marinate them. So I got these steaks from Sam's Club. After you wash and dry your steaks, you are going to start to create your marinade. You're going to take about a pinch, maybe about a 1/4 teaspoon of rubbed sage. I do not want you to use ground sage. If you have rubbed sage, go ahead and use that. But if you do have ground sage, just use about a teaspoon of it. Next, you're going to do about a tablespoon of freshly cracked black pepper. Once you get the cracked pepper on the steaks, the next thing that you're going to add is going to be smoked paprika. You want to use the smoked kind, but if you have just a regular paprika, you can go ahead and use that. It just is a better flavor. So you're going to do about a 1/2 tablespoon of that. I'm doing 2 steaks, so if you do more than 2, you want to do about a tablespoon of it. The next thing I want you to use is crushed rosemary. You want to do about a 1/2 tablespoon of this as well. Next, you're going to take some garlic powder and some onion powder, and you're going to do about a 1/2 tablespoon of this. They will bring out the flavor in the steak. If you do not want to add garlic powder and onion powder, you do not have to. If you do not have it, it is optional. Again, if you want to add it, add it. If you do not, don't. But this is my own personal recipe, and if you want the full effect, you might want to add it. So next, we're going to take some white pepper, and we're going to do about a 1/2 tablespoon of that. That is why I did a 1/2 tablespoon of black pepper and then a 1/2 tablespoon of white pepper to make basically 1 tablespoon of pepper. Next, we're going to take some dried parsley, and I want you to add about a tablespoon of this. This is a dried herb, and it will get rehydrated with the liquids. So next, I want you to add some soy sauce. I want you to do probably about 3 tablespoons of soy sauce. This has a lot of salt in it, so that's why I did not add extra salt to the steaks. So you do not want to drown the steaks in soy sauce. Again, this does have a lot of salt in it. The next thing you're going to add is going to be about a 1/2 tablespoon of liquid smoke. You do not need a lot of this as well. And then the very last ingredient is going to be 1 tablespoon of minced garlic. Once you get the minced garlic into the bowl, you are simply going to combine everything together. At this point, you will smell the marinade. This marinade will smell really good. So once you get everything combined and mixed in well, you are going to grab some plastic wrap or a cover to whatever you mixed it in, and you are going to marinate this in the refrigerator for a minimum of 1 to 4 hours. So next, we are going to work on the roasted potatoes. This is a very popular dish for me. A lot of people always ask me, how do I make them or what do I put in them? And I'm about to show you. So you're just going to take some mini potatoes. I got these from Sam's Club. I always get them from Sam's Club. After you have washed them and then dry them, here, you're going to cut them into wedges. So these are small, so you're just going to cut them into 4s, and then they are wedges, just like right here. I'm going to show you again. This is exactly what you want. So after you get done, they should look just like this, and now we are about to season them. So typically the way that I season these is that I lay them on a cookie sheet and I flatten them out, and I just cover the top. But we're going to do it in a bowl today. I had another video. That's why I made the whole bag. So I took some dried Italian seasonings. I always use this when I make these. I grabbed some cracked black pepper, and I used about a tablespoon of that. Next thing I added was about 2 tablespoons of salt. Again, you just want to lightly cover the top. So if you do it on a cookie sheet, you're going to do the same technique. So you really don't want to over season these wedges, potato wedges. So now you're going to take some crushed rosemary. You're going to do about a tablespoon of that. This is a very powerful herb, so you don't want to overpower it with the rosemary. Next, you're going to take a garlic and herb blend. The brand that I chose is the Kingsford brand. I am not sponsored. I just always use this seasoning. But if you have any other garlic and herb brand, that you'll like to use, go ahead and use that. So you're going to do about 2 tablespoons of this, and then you're going to take some dried parsley flakes, and you are going to do about 3 tablespoons of the dried parsley flakes. Again, any dried herb is going to get rehydrated from whatever liquid that you add to that container. Next, you are going to take some oil of your choice, and you are going to just add that in. I use about a 1/3 cup of extra virgin olive oil. The kind of oil that you use is very important. You do not want to use grapeseed oil or coconut oil. You want to either use extra virgin olive oil or you want to use avocado oil. So after you get the oil into the bowl, so the next thing you're just going to do is simply combine it. You want to take your time doing this because you want to make sure that every potato wedge is nicely coated with all of the ingredients and the oil. So I think in most of my videos, I'm always telling people that, like, if you're mad, if you're tired, don't cook because it's not going to turn out right. So again, take your time with doing this, and if done correctly, it should look just like this. And the next thing you're going to do is you're going to take a cookie sheet and you're going to spray the cookie sheet with olive oil, or you can just take some olive oil and rub the cookie sheet down. After that, you're going to take the potato wedges and you are going to spread them onto the cookie sheet. You're going to make sure all of them are flat, and then preheat your oven to 400 degrees because you are going to bake these for 35 minutes. Yes, you're only going to bake them for 35 minutes because later in the video, I'm going to show you what I'm going to do to finish cooking them the rest of the way. After you get those in the oven, it is time for you to preheat your air fryer. So you're going to preheat your air fryer at 370 for 10 minutes. And then you are going to align the rack with some aluminum foil. Aligning the rack with aluminum foil will catch all of the juices from the steak. So the juices from the steak, if you were to do this in a pan, you can create a gravy. But for this recipe, I'm not going to create a gravy, but the marinade will turn into a sauce for the steak. The air fryer is basically a mini oven. And yes, you can put aluminum foil in it. For anybody that feel like they want to comment and tell me that I can't put aluminum foil into an air fryer, you see me doing it now and nothing is going to happen to it. So after you get the aluminum foil put in, you are simply going to take your steaks and you are going to lay them on the rack. Now, you do want to give them about a 1/2 inch of room. You do not want to sit them on top of each other. You don't want to sit anything that you cook in the air fryer on top of each other because it will not cook right. So you're going to just give them about a 1/2 inch, and then you are going to take the excess marinade and you're going to pour it over the steaks. After you get the excess marinade over the steaks, you are going to air fry this at 370 for the first 8 minutes. We are going to start off at a low temperature for a longer time, and then we're going to go up into another higher temperature for a shorter period of time. So after that, after the first 8 minutes, you are going to flip them, and then you're going to cook them at 380 for another 7 minutes. After the 7 minutes are up, you are going to take some garlic herb butter. I'll provide a video on how I created this. You're going to put it on top, and then you're going to put it back in the air fryer for the last 5 minutes. So that is a total of 20 minutes. After the steaks are cooked, you are going to remove them from the air fryer, and then you are going to gather up that aluminum foil. And this is why I say to use aluminum foil, for this reason right here. All the juices from the marinade are now a sauce, so you want to gather them up in the aluminum foil, and then you are simply going to pour the excess marinade onto the steaks. Whatever you do, do not throw this away. You can even make some gravy out of this if you want to, but I just wanted the light sauce. So now you're going to take the rest of that garlic butter. Again, I'm going to create a video and show you guys how I created this. And you are just going to put about a tablespoon on each one. So you don't want to spread the butter onto the steaks. You just want to simply drop it on top like I'm doing here. The steam from the steaks will melt the butter. And then you're going to take a lid or some more aluminum foil, and you are going to cover the steaks and allow them to rest. So next, the potatoes should be out of the oven. and we are going to finish cooking them by crisping them up in a cast iron skillet. You just want to take some butter, and then you just want to add the amount of potatoes that you like, and then you're just going to cook them for about another 5 to 7 minutes. So now we're going to check the steak. It should look just like this. You should see that the butter is melted. And as you can see, making it in an air fryer was not bad. It was pretty easy. And it took less than 30 minutes to make. So I like medium rare steak. So if you like medium rare steak, this is the way to cook it. So once you let your steak rest, it is time for you to just remove it from the container, and then we are going to slice it. So you can slice this steak thin or you can slice it thick. I sliced mine thin, and right here I'm just showing you how I cut it and how juicy the steak is coming out of an air fryer. And again, you can slice it to your liking, but I like medium rare steak, so I always have thin slices. If you do not like medium rare, you can cook it for a little bit longer at the end. Instead of cooking it for another 5 minutes, you can cook it for another 8 minutes. But if you like well done steak, I don't think you should do this dish at all. I don't know nobody that likes a well done steak. I don't think you should be eating steak if it's well done, but that's just my opinion. But after you get done slicing it, it should look just like this. This is straight out of an air fryer. You are completely done. You have created yourself some steak in the air fryer and some roasted potatoes. I made some shrimp on the side because I wanted to garnish the dish with shrimp. So we're going to plate it. Normally I would plate it in like an individual plate, but this time I'm going to do it as a platter. And the platter that I'm going to use is going to be a cast iron skillet. So what I'm going to do is just take some of those potato wedges, and I'm just going to put it on one side. Then I'm going to take the steak, and I'm just going to lay the steak on the opposite side. So again, you do not have to do what I'm doing. This is just how I like to plate my food. For the most part, when I'm plating, I always do, like I said, an individual plate. But today, I'm going to do a platter. So if you do this for a date night or like for a special occasion, you definitely want to serve this individually on its own plates. So next, I'm going to add in between the potatoes and the steak is shrimp. So I grilled some shrimp. I'm going to have another video on that for you too, so everybody can see how I do the grilled shrimp. Normally, each dish has a garnish. And for this dish, it already has parsley and dried herbs and stuff like that in it. So the garnish is the shrimp. So I just grilled some shrimp, and then I placed them in the middle of the potatoes and the steak. And it does not have to be perfect, but y'all know I like to make stuff look pretty. So after you get done assembling the shrimp, you are going to take the sauce from the steak and you are just going to drizzle it on top of the steak only. So it should look just like this. As you can see, this is the way I decided to showcase this dish. And again, if you want to do individual servings, you definitely can, but this is 2 servings in 1 skillet. So let me know how you guys like this recipe, and I will see you in my next video.